So hello all and welcome. It is I, the Realist Philosopher. And in this video, I wanted to comment on this chick I came across. I don't know what her name is. I think her channel is Beauty K or something. She's got a whole bunch of... how many followers does this chick have? 48,000. Beauty Ray, excuse me. Her name is not worth really remembering. So, Beauty Ray... Beauty. I'm looking at this chick. Pretty plain Jane, pretty average at best. So beauty, some self-gaslighting going on there. But anyway, she has a not so unique, rather run-of-the-mill Western female's take on passport bros. Bros who are going their own way overseas, bros that are wanting to escape Western women. And I find it very interesting because her views are not only extremely condescending, but they're also, dare I say, I don't like to use the word racist because I don't believe in racism, but extremely bigoted and condescending also to overseas women. The way this woman talks, the implication seems to be she believes that Western women are the end-all, be-all of babes. They're the best. They're the top shelf, creme de la creme. And if you live in a third world country, if you live in a place like Thailand or the Philippines, well, you're second rate. You're a second rater. You're beneath me because you're not a Western woman. See, I'm a Western woman, so I am superior to you. So it seems they have the same view of overseas broads that they do of Western men who live in their own country. So I found that very interesting. But anyway, let's get into what she thinks. And by the way, this is what the majority of Western women think of men who go overseas to find themselves women that are, well, not Western broads. And they seem to resent that, even though these are the guys that they claim not to want. Anyway, let's get into it, shall we?
Hi guys, my name is Bella. Welcome back to my channel. I found this absolutely breathtaking...
Bella? Why is her channel called Beauty Ray? By the way, look at that. That's still. There you go. So I don't think she has any makeup on. Look at that face. She's not an attractive woman. She's got no rack to speak of. I mean, I guess she's thin. She's got that going for her. But this woman thinks she's top shelf, and you're going to see she does.
Spot to film this very, very deep video for you guys.
How many out there think this is going to be deep? She thinks it's deep, which tells you a lot about her intellect.
Because as you guys can see, I'm traveling right now. You know, I'm not in my room anymore. This is not my room, okay?
No, really?
I'm traveling right now through Southeast Asia,
yeah.
And I have witnessed something really, sad in Thailand.
Sad.
When I was traveling around there.
Sad for you, maybe, because these dudes going overseas lessens your chances of getting a man when you're done with your hoe phase and you hit the wall.
And I want to talk about it in this video. And
cope. Major cope.
The thing that really, blew my mind.
Upset
is
you?
The amount of pathetic losers. Probably a lot of those that watch my channel as well.
Wow. But she got like 48,000 followers on YouTube. Bunch of views. And she's probably all over Instagram and TikTok and all these other Twitter. And she's calling her followers losers. Yeah. You guys like being treated like toe jam? You simps. Oh, she called us losers, but, she's, well, I don't know what she's got going for her. What she got going for her? What are you simps doing following this broad?
That cannot get a girl in their country. They are pretty deprived. They are virgins most likely.
We're virgins most likely. Any evidence for that? Any? No. They're going overseas. They must be virgins. They must be losers. They don't want to be with me. Delusional much, lady?
They come to these countries, they literally like travel all across the world because it's mostly Europeans and Americans that do this.
Right. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? You think other countries don't have women? Do you think Africa doesn't have women? Eastern. I know a lot of guys from Eastern European countries are going to Southeast Asian countries. But why do you think that is? Why do you think it's almost all exclusively Western dudes? Did you ever stop to ask yourself that? Nah, of course not.
So they literally have to travel around the world, pay crazy amount of money.
Why? No, they don't. What are you talking about? What crazy amount of money? Are you spending a crazy amount of money? What's the crazy amount of money? They're not purchasing these women. They're not giving them dowries or buying them or anything. What are you talking about? They spend crazy. I love the implication. They're having to buy these women. That's what she's saying. That's a falsehood. Total BS. No, that's not the case. In fact, it's much cheaper. You're forgetting to mention the fact that a lot of these guys, many of them are going overseas and staying there. So they're not spending ungodly amounts of money. In fact, they're saving money. You know how far the dollar goes in the Philippines, in Thailand, compared to America? So this is a falsehood. This is a lie. This is a misrepresentation right there. It tells you just how much she actually knows.
And then pay some more here to get some of these girls.
They're not paying money to get these women. By and large, just the fact that they're Americans, right? Now, the women do know that if they're an American living in Thailand, in the Philippines, in one of these Southeast Asian countries, then they know that the white dude is doing pretty well financially. Yeah, probably doing better than the local dude on average. So, what's your point? That's literally you and every other woman on the freaking planet. You're going to get with the dude that you perceive as having higher value. I don't know what she's talking about. How is that any different than you in America, looking at the dudes in America? You're chasing the top 10% of dudes. They're chasing the top 10% of dudes. It just so happens that these dudes are able to, if they're not in the top 10% in America, go to Philippines, and then they're in the top 10% financially speaking. So they give themselves more options. That's what she really doesn't like. Them having more options curtails her options in the future, and she knows that, and that's why she's pissed.
So they don't feel like a loser anymore, you know? Because I have noticed that, especially the guys that feel really like a loser in their own country, you know? So
Why are they losers? What do you mean they feel like? How do you know how these dudes feel? Lady, you know about as little about how men feel. That's crazy. You have no idea. You have no empathy for a man. You don't know how they feel. This is just projection on your part. You want to know the truth of the matter? She's a loser of a woman where she is. She's talking about these men. Oh, they're not able to get laid. They're not able to get women in America. They're not even able to get sex. Well, what's the equivalent for a woman? Oh, commitment from a man in marriage? Where's your husband? Where's your man? You look pretty alone to me, sweetheart. You look to be pretty fucking lonely, sitting on that beach by your lonesome. Where's your man? Oh, you don't have one. Yeah.
so
Yeah, but you're a winner. Oh, yeah.
in Europe or in the USA, they, you know, all the women are kind of like stepping all over them, and they want to prove.
Yeah, the women are stepping all over them. She just answered her own question. So it's not that they're losers, it's that the women are stepping all over them. Oh, but that you see, that's okay because they're losers. You see, it's okay for women to step all over certain types of dudes. Is it? Would you say the same about men? In regards to women that they perceive as losers? For whatever standards they might have? Oh, I bet you wouldn't. Because then she would fall into that category. And probably does, because no doubt she's being pumped and dumped quite a bit. which is why she's so bitter and needs to project.
Prove to themselves, you know, that they can get a girl, that they are this kind of big alpha guy, which they're not, obviously, but they come here to play this kind of like a, you know, circus. They come here, they get one of these super, I don't know the name to call them, but let's just call
Feminine, submissive, unlike you, with your big mouth.
them soft, okay? It's not a bad thing, right?
So them being soft is not a bad thing. Meaning you're not soft. You admitted you're not soft because you're walking all over these dudes and you were the woman that they're running away from. So they're soft and you're not. So that's really the problem. It's not that they're losers. It's just that they don't want to get with you.
So I'm not like judgy, right? Like I do not.
Isn't that exactly what you're doing? What do you mean you're not judgy? You're calling these dudes all sorts of names. That's judging. And shaming. Of course, we can't do that to you.
For this kind of tourism, but by the way, guys, subscribe to my OF. The link is in the description.
Is she for real? This chick has an OnlyFans? And she's calling dudes losers? Woo! Sweetheart! Oh my gosh. The irony.
But yeah, what was I about to say?
Oh, so she's just upset. The simps are going somewhere else. They're starting to wake up and realize, hey, this is just fantasy. Meanwhile, I can have the reality, the real thing. And by the way, they're not alphas. Isn't that dependent on geography? Isn't that dependent on geography, really? Isn't there a certain amount of relativity to that? I mean, they're alphas when they go over there. They're alphas there.
They get this kind of women who are very obviously getting paid to.
What do you mean getting paid? What is she talking about? These guys, I mean, there are a fair amount of simps going overseas and simping overseas, but they would get these broads if they just had a brain and stopped being so blue-pilled and realized they don't have to simp. The fact that they're a foreigner living in that country, a white foreigner in most cases, because they're running away from these white Western women, they don't have to simp. They just need to realize that they have value being a foreigner, making that U.S. dollar in many cases that goes so far over there. But they're not buying these broads. I mean, you're talking about. I mean, she says she seems to be mixing up passport bros with tourism dudes. She's conflating the two.
Treat the men as if they're some sort of alphas, which they're obviously not, but.
Oh, they treat these men like that. See, she's even admitting it. What the problem is, there's this differential insofar as how you view certain men. She's even admitting that, hey, I chase the top 10% of dudes, just like every other Western broad, totally, completely excluding these other 90% of guys that I see as losers. What do you care then? Why do you care so much then, sweetheart, if they're so beneath you?
But, you know, like, imagine like you're so desperate that you have to pay so much money to get a girl to treat you like an alpha. Like, you know, like, it's just ridiculous to me. Like,
what do you care then?
And I've seen it with my own eyes. So I was walking around in Thailand, in Phuket. And Phuket is kind of like, I would not say that Phuket is that much into it. Like, Pattaya is an area that is, you know, more involved in this kind of a tourism. But,
how do you know? This is the thing. She just sees dudes. She's probably seeing guys that she considers ugly, fat, out of shape, with good-looking local broads, and she just assumes that they're there for tourism. I mean, how many of these people are you actually talking to? Are you just projecting your own confirmation bias onto what you're seeing and saying, oh, there's a fat, ugly guy with a good-looking chick. He must be here for He can't be living here. He can't be a passport bro. I think a lot of these dudes are living there. And they have local girlfriends or wives, and they have no intention of leaving. By the way, guys, if you go overseas, stay overseas. Because if you come back to your home country, women will be corrupted by effenism. It will happen. So stay in her country.
I saw it in Phuket, and it was crazy. Like, these guys actually I saw one guy, just he looked like, you know, like a guy that watches my channel, like absolute loser, miserable.
She's probably talking about her OnlyFans. Hey, sweetheart, he look like a guy that watches my channel, absolute loser. That's great. Yeah, insult your customer base, honey. I love the arrogance. Wow, I love the arrogance. Yeah, I'm going to insult you. I'm going to put you down in my audience, and I'm going to call you out. I'm going to say, you and my audience, you're a bunch of losers for watching me. And she expects them to keep watching. And you know what's pathetic? A lot of these guys have such a high degree of the Stockholm Syndrome going on that they actually will. They actually will keep watching. That's how pathetic a lot of men are these days.
Desperate for girls, you know. And I saw
They'd have to be desperate to be watching your OnlyFans. Good Lord.
him in the shop with this Thai woman who was, by the way, quite beautiful. And he was even like trying to get her drunk. Like he was getting so much booze from there and everything. So like not only do you have to travel to another country.
I love the way she's inferring all of these negatives when she doesn't know what's going on. He's trying to get her drunk. Because only a good woman, this beautiful, the only way that she's going to sleep with this ugly guy is if, he gets her drunk. I think she's speaking more to her own experiences. Oh, the way she views the world. And, I think this is projection. I think that, this chick, there's a lot of self-loathing going on here. I think that she has to get herself drunk to participate in these, sexual escapades that she does, and to do her OnlyFans. She looks pretty old. So I bet she's abusing the booze as well. She has to. No doubt she's abusing numerous substances because she's so happy.
To get a woman, to get some action finally after being, pay-free for a couple of years in your own.
How do you know any of this? You didn't know this guy. You don't know any of these people. You're just making all of these assumptions based upon your own personal biases, and I think your own self-hate and your own personal experiences.
Country. Not only...
Which, by the way, are negative, because that's all she deals with are the Chads and the Tyrone alpha dudes.
That, but also you have to get her drunk. Because, I think if she sees your small pee-pee down there, like, she's just gonna...
This is very odd. They tell us not to objectify women, and yet whenever they talk about men and want to shame them, they always go to some kind of objectification, talking about how inadequate he is down there, or his deficiencies in the S department. I find that so interesting.
If she wasn't drunk, she would just like laugh at you and run away too, So yeah.
Talking about herself, she probably slept with a couple of what she terms the loser nice guys, and they ended up not wanting her either.
Yes, guys, this is my experience.
See?
And
her experience. I called it. It's her personal experience. Little slip there, honey. Yeah.
Like a lot here, and yes, I'm not trying to say like, yes, some guys, the Southeast Asian girls are their type, but like, you really...
Well, clearly they are their type because they're there. You're not their type, which is why you're angry.
We are so desperate still.
Are her teeth yellow? I mean, my teeth ain't so great either, but I'm not on OF. I'm not trying to make money off my looks. Yellow, coffee-stained teeth. Sweetheart, you need to go to a dentist.
To go to another country, travel like, across the globe, because you cannot score one in your own.
How do you know that? I don't know how you know this. You don't know any of this. You're just making a variety of assumptions based upon your own personal biases. Meanwhile, these guys could do very well in their home country. Maybe they have no problem, but maybe they won't have a family. And they've dated enough Western women to know that they're not going down that road because the risk is too great, because women are incentivized in the West to divorce their husbands. They're incentivized to get married so they can get divorced and take half his stuff and get lifetime alimony. So maybe that's not such a good idea. So maybe I'm going to go somewhere else where I'm more valued and it's not such a high risk to get married and have a family.
You know? It's kind of sad, right?
You know what I think is sad? I think it's sad that you're sitting there without a man, without a husband, you do OnlyFans, and you think they're losers because they actually have someone and you don't.
So, yeah, I mean, like...
Here comes some more coke.
And a lot of guys, I have been actually watching some documentaries about this on YouTube. And because I was interested to know, like, what other people have to say about it. And I found out that a lot of these guys, they really are, like, they admit that they are very lonely in their country. They cannot get any girl. They cannot get any action.
There's a difference between not being able to get someone long-term or not wanting someone long-term. You're assuming that because they don't have someone, that it's because they can't get them. Maybe they don't want them. And you're the perfect example of why they wouldn't want a Western woman. Lady, you and your OnlyFans.
Cannot, you know, they just don't feel like men there. And yes, like...
You should not be commenting on how men feel. You really shouldn't.
I've been talking about it in a lot of my videos that the femininity and masculinity roles are kind of like flipped around in the Western countries, but still, you know,
the masculinity roles are flipped around, meaning that the women are the ones that are being masculine. So why would a man want to be with a masculine woman? I think you're answering your own questions as to why men are going overseas for whatever reason, be it S or relationships, but you don't even know it.
Like, it's really sad that, you know, some losers.
You think there's some kind of like awareness going on under the surface there that she might be getting a little too close to the truth that she's the loser?
A lot of them that can afford it, of course.
What are you talking about? It's a plane ticket! What are you talking about? You can afford it! Well, she's got an OnlyFans where a bunch of simps are giving her God knows how much money.
Also, these countries, just to prove to themselves that they're not that much of a losers.
Oh yeah, that's why.
Excuse me, but you are. You know, like.
It's been my experience that people that feel the need to lash out unprovoked and insult others and put others down do that because they're rather insecure and they don't feel very good about themselves. They don't feel like they have much control over their lives. So in my experience, people who are abusive like this and insult others and go out of their way to criticize, this is really just, you know, ad homs being thrown about. They do that because they're very insecure and they don't feel very good about themselves. That's my experience. That's my experience, sweetheart. And that's actual firsthand. Not just me walking around and looking at people and making assumptions like you based on personal biases, which are formed by, you know, getting dumped by too many chads and apparently these guys that are losers as well that she wants nothing to do with and doesn't care about, and yet she's making a video about them.
You are an absolute loser.
Mm-hmm.
Desperate.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, like, I see it in these guys' eyes, and I see those guys, you know, like, you look at them and you can see that they are losers. Like, I have actually trained myself really well. When I look at a guy, I can...
I think this woman has trained herself well in anything. I mean, I don't think so. I'd be willing to bet that even the S action with this chick is not so good. I don't think she's good at anything, which of course is why she has an OnlyFans and objectifies herself for cash.
Like, I can tell his size and I can tell how confident he is.
She can tell his size and his confidence level just by looking at him. Isn't that psychic ability? Isn't she talking about magic? Magical thinking? Oy vey.
Tell how much of an alpha, beta, whatever he is, how much of a, you know, loser blood he has. So a lot of them have this blood.
Translation, if he's hot, he's got to be confident, and he's an alpha, and he must have a big you-know-what, and if he's not hot, in my eyes, then he's got a small you-know-what, and clearly isn't confident. Yeah, that's total nonsense.
Pure. Yeah, I can see that.
I think I can see why she needs to make money on OnlyFans. She's an idiot!
Loser blood in here. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Not a good side. Not a good side. Just kidding. I'm enjoying these losers.
I bet you are. They pay your bills. They paid for your trip to Thailand. Of course you're enjoying them and you're insulting them at the same time. But of course she knows what pathetic simps they are. So, you know, they'll keep paying her money. By the way, these guys you're seeing are probably not watching your OF. They've got good-looking South Asian girlfriends and wives. I would tell the guys that are watching you, save your money and go to Thailand and find yourself a wife there and find something you can do over there professionally and get away from these Western women.
You know, I think that you all should just go back to your countries and worship the women there.
Worship the women there. See, this is the way practically all Western women think. Queen, goddess, treat me like the goddess, the queen, the boss babe I am, worship me. You know, she thinks she's a god. the enormous amount of entitlement to think that you should be worshipped. And of course, what's her idea of worship? Tithes. Pass around the collection plate. Give me cash, because I got a poon.
Instead of trying to prove to yourselves that you are someone who you're not.
Like you?
Here, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, just accept that you're a loser.
Right. You should take your own advice, honey. Go look in the mirror and say that to yourself, because you are a loser. You can't get a man. No man wants you. It's easy for you to get sex. That's right. But the mistake that you were making is you were taking what men value in you insofar as your sexual value, and you're mistaking that for your total complete value to man. No. A man will get with you to bang you, but the real value that you have, that means you have very little value to him. You see, you're mistaking your ability to get a man, which is easy, with your value to him. He doesn't value you. That's why he pumps and dumps you. If he valued you, he wouldn't dump you after he pumped you. Of course, if you valued yourself, you wouldn't make it so easy for him to pump you in the first place. But then you're carrying that over to men. Right? And oh well, he can't get S so easy as I can, so his value's low. But that's not what women value, generally speaking, in a man. I mean, they'll overlook bad looks if he's got lots of money, honey. Okay, so. But you could have all the money in the world, and men are not going to overlook the fact that you're a prawn star.
So much easier and cheaper for you to do it, like, you know?
No, it's not easy. What are you talking about? It's so much easier and cheaper. What, to worship you? You know how much money a lot of these simp dudes shell out for OF? You know how much a first date costs in America? Women running around talking about how a coffee date is insufficient. I will not go on a coffee date. If you don't spend money on me, i.e. worship me, then I will not go out with you. So, you know. But wait. I find this very interesting. She says that these dudes are losers for going overseas and having to buy women, which actually they're going overseas because they're ending up having to spend far less and put out far less effort to get these women. Meanwhile, the actual women you have to spend all this money on and literally buy are the Western women like her. I told you, it's all projection.
I think some guys, they just can't accept that, right? Like, they just travel to these countries and they're like, no, I'm not a loser. I'm not a loser. See, I can get all these Thai girls.
Again, you're conflating passport bros and guys that are just going overseas to bang. By the way, so what? They don't want to be with you. They don't want to give you money. I don't blame them.
I'm not a loser. Definitely, trust me, you know? Like...
That's her talking about herself. She's in denial. Yeah, you're a loser, honey, because men, okay? They don't want to marry you. They don't want a relationship with you, and that's where your value lies. So you have no value. You're a loser.
But then they get back into their countries and they're looking at the woman there like from down up. Like, oh please goddess, don't destroy me. Okay guys.
Yeah, we have to worry about being destroyed by a woman. Literally. She's clearly well aware of the issues, yet she doesn't see them as a problem. Which means that this woman, and the majority of Western women, think that's normal, think that's okay to be in such a superior, condescending position, to have such power that they can easily destroy a man, and you wonder why he's trying to get away from women like you?
There's a lot of wind, a lot of change in light. So yeah, but we're outside in the nature. I hope you guys can hear me despite the wind. Oh my god. And look at my hair, guys.
That's enough. Okay. She's starting to talk about how wonderful her hair is. Like, I give a crap. She clearly thinks men care about the same things she does, which is part of the freaking problem. That's enough. I can't deal with any more from this moronic broad. So we've got this very plain Jane chick here. Thinks she's a 10 when she's at best a 5. Actually, from that view, I'd say a 4. I think she needs to, if we go by this pic, she needs to slather on a lot of makeup just to make it up to a 5. Jesus. And yet, she's probably making decent money on OnlyFans. And she's got almost 50,000 followers on YouTube, and they continue to watch even though she calls them losers. Yeah. Well, there you go. So let me know what you think, guys. Are men that go overseas for ass or to get in relationships, which is really what I think the vast majority of dudes are doing. That's not to say there's not an ass tourism that's going on, but I think the majority of those guys are going overseas so they can find themselves a wife. Do you think that makes them a loser? Do you think wanting to escape women like this, who on one hand say they believe in equality, but on the other want to have all this power and control and superior position over men to such an extent where they desire the ability to be able to destroy men? Do you think that maybe is why men are escaping? Or should we be worshiping her, as she says, because she's so wonderful and so awesome? And if we can't get with chicks like her, we're losers. If we don't want to get with chicks like her, because, but that can't be the case. If we're not with someone like her, it's because we're losers. It's not because we don't want to be with her. So she says. Massive cope there. But let me know what you think in the comment section. Are men going overseas to find wives and girlfriends losers, or are they just smart? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Consider making a donation. Follow me on Patreon and other platforms like BitChute I'm on. And also consider making a donation to my GoFundMe. I recently had some health issues. You'll find out more information on my GoFundMe. You'll find the link in the description. I could really use your help and support right now. And on that note, I am out of here. I am the Realist Philosopher, and I wish you all a good and pleasant day. Take care.